Good morning, CrossRoads. Tia here. This will be my third testimony since I chose CrossRoads to be my home church. I didn't expect to be up here this soon, and I have this homework to thank. Since Pastor Robert started, our little inserts have changed, and I must admit I wasn't too thrilled at first. I was used to filling out the answers to the guide as we went through the message. Homework didn't really sound too fun, so I never did it, but I continued to take notes as I had done prior to the change. Since being here, I never have actively participated in the cross-training classes either. That all changed. May 25th, I went to the cross-training, and when I got home, before I went to bed, I at some point made the decision that I was going to do something more. I did my homework. Then I did something even more. I made the decision that I was going to step out of my comfort zone, and I was going to share one of my answers of the homework that following Sunday. Where was this all coming from? But then I remembered that I was leading the toddler room that coming Sunday. So I reached out to Pastor Robert about possibly finding a way to share. He replied to me, but as I was reading my homework answer, it felt more like a testimony than simply answering a question. Before I continue, I'm going to share that answer. So one of the questions was talking about how do you compare, what stands out to you about the centurion's view of himself, and how does it compare to your view of your own worth? So part of it said, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. I have a hard time with forgiveness, not with others, but forgiving myself. All the wasted time in my life. I am responsible for all of my thoughts, actions, and attitudes. I am responsible for my consequences. During my period of transformation, healing, and recovery, I fought with all I had in me for how far I had come, and I wasn't at a place without God or faith. I found worth in myself, but I am always so quick to destroy it. I have been coming to CrossRoads since 2018, much of the time on fire for God, but then I would let the world distract me and fall away. A vicious cycle back and forth. I never used to come to the cross training in the mornings, but I finally started. I first had to break through all the excuses as to why I couldn't. During the cross training that last day, I discussed something similar about forgiveness and worth, to which my brothers and sisters reminded me of who I am in Christ. When I feel like I have no strength or faith, my brothers and sisters loan me theirs. When I started my journey, I was eager, I was excited. I read my Bible throughout the day. I would read devotionals in the morning. At night, I would read more devotionals, Bible reading, and Bible studies with the ladies from the church on the YouVersion Bible app. I would do my journaling every day since July 2020, and I would challenge myself to remember Bible verses each week. Ecstatic when I remembered them, especially when I challenged myself to remember multiple a week. For a time, we also had a women's Christian book club. We would read chapters and share our input on the contents and the answers to the questions. There were other studies we would do too. I kept taking on more and more because I wanted more. I was a part of the Celebrate Recovery leadership team. I participated in and helped lead the CR step studies. I took on leading the greeting ministry and got involved in children's church. I attended a couple Wednesday night prayer groups, even though publicly praying out loud made me uncomfortable. I kept myself busy. I thought that was what God wanted me to do, that He wanted me to serve, but I made a mistake. I didn't pray during this time, and I didn't ask Him if that's what He wanted for me. While I was staying busy with the works, the deeds of serving, I put Jesus on the back burner. I didn't put the relationship with Him first. I was no longer doing it for Him, but for myself, and I, in turn, lost sight of the mission. Everything became a have to instead of I get to or I want to. I was doing this and this and this at church and this at home, but it was all on autopilot, a dead routine. There was no joy. There was no heart in it, and I became bitter. I'm sure my fellows could see my attitude towards everything change. When I read my Bible, it became something I was checking off my to-do list versus reading to absorb and learn and transform. I would read something and it felt good in the moment, but it would go out of my mind as quickly as it went in. Then I would read things that made me feel cruddy. I didn't want that, so it didn't stay long either, because although convictions and corrections are for the good, they don't often feel good. I started doing everything for the wrong purpose. I enjoyed serving and bonding with my brothers and sisters, but I was also still in the stage of a newborn Christian. There was still an emptiness inside of me, and I was trying to fill a void within. I was looking for something to make me feel whole, but I only became wholly overwhelmed and lost. Through the time of me coming here, there were periods of time I was present and consistent, but then I would fade out. Sometimes things in the Bible would put a bad taste in my mouth, and I became bitter. I let the nasty stuff creep in. Instead of taking my thoughts and attitudes captive, I let them roll around and have their way. There were times I felt stronger and more willing, and I would ask God to help me. I didn't like how I felt or what I was thinking, and I couldn't do it on my own. I wanted help redirecting my thoughts and getting the trash out before I couldn't get rid of the smell. I would have the victory for a few seconds or even a couple minutes, and then there went the bone like a dog I chased after again. It was both exhausting to conquer as it was giving in and letting it fester. I had ended up walking away from all my commitments one at a time over a period of time. I felt both guilty and relieved. I was conflicted. I felt hopeless. I no longer felt like it was where I was supposed to be. I became comfortable and complacent with stepping away. The world outside the church was always there. I often looked out the window and wanted to go play, but when it started to get dark, I ignored the general rule, come inside when the streetlights come on. Last time I stayed out, I remained lost for a while. I didn't go back to the things that destroyed me in my life prior to my walk with Jesus. I just existed in the world, and I often didn't invite him in. I wasn't sure if I was going to come back this last time. I was in the dark, and it seemed like the daylight wasn't coming back. All I had was the streetlights, a little bit of light in the darkness, and I was grasping onto it, but it wasn't enough to stay. The sun, both the light of day and Jesus, was the only light that could provide life for me. Oh, did I drop a piece of paper? No, I did not. Sorry. Since I've returned, I've been trying to create a better relationship with Jesus. When I do my Bible reading at night, I first invite him in. I welcome to use his words to reveal what I need to hear and what I need to see. I'm still working on trying to take my thoughts captive and controlling my inner attitudes. My goal is to be more consistent with prayer. I have also made the conscious decision to turn to an area of service. Prior to me taking a walk away, I was helping in a children's church ministry. I worked with the K through 3rd grade. I must say it, sometimes I felt unequipped and intimidated. Now I get the opportunity to spend the first Sundays with the toddlers, a place where I feel better fit. Maybe it's the inner child in me. We get to play with toys, play games, read books, color, and do crafts. So we get to run wild, we get to be kids. I believe that I may be willing to serve in other areas where needed in the future. But as of right now, I'm trying to prioritize the relationship. I don't want to get carried away like I did before and misplace my heart and my mind. I want to grow and place my feet on a strong foundation. This is both a testimony and a prayer request. A request for strength and a reminder to come in when the streetlights come on because it's dark out there. The little light that I held on to is something like what a brother said in cross training. I may not say it precisely to what he said, but he said something along the lines of, "We are here today because something inside of us wanted to change from what the world had to offer." Something happened to me the day I first surrendered my life over it, and my life no longer belonged to just me. There are areas that I may not agree with, that I don't understand, but I know where I'm supposed to be. I know that I have a home. I know that I have people, and I know what love feels like now. And I have to say, I don't know whose idea it was for that last worship song, but it said something, I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I made it, but it's all about you. Thank you.